Welcome, everybody, to our latest episode of Scream Creeps, where this week we're actually going to continue our premiere series on the podcast. And we're actually talking about the movie we planned on talking about last week, but we didn't make it to the theater then. It will be
Yep.
The Exorcist Believer. The movie is a 2023 American supernatural horror film directed by David Gordon Green, who co-wrote the screenplay with Peter Sattler and from a story that was written by Scott Teems, Danny McBride, and Green. This is the sixth installment in the Exorcist franchise. I didn't realize there was six of
Holy
them.
crap, 6? I
Yeah.
knew that there was 3, but fucking
yeah.
shit.
And it serves as a sequel to the first Exorcist film made in 1973. The film stars Leslie Odom Jr. of Hamilton fame, Lydia Jewett, Olivia O'Neill in her film debut, Jennifer Nettles from the band Sugarland, if anybody knows who that is.
Oh, is that the mom?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
I thought I recognized her from something.
Norbert Leo Butts, and Ann Dowd, along with Ellen Burstyn and Linda Blair reprising their roles from the original film. The plot follows a photographer who must confront the nadir of evil when his daughter and her best friend are possessed. Jason Blum served as producer on the film through his Blumhouse Productions banner alongside David and James G. Robinson through their Morgan Creek Entertainment banner in association with executive producers Green and McBride's Rough House Pictures. The project began as a sequel to the original film, like I stated before, in December 2020. Universal Pictures collaborated with Peacock to acquire distribution rights in June of 2021 for $400 million, with intentions of launching a new trilogy of the Exorcist films. Principal photography took place between November 2022 and March 2023 on a production budget of $30 million. As I said earlier, I might have said that, but the movie was released in the United States on October 6th, which was a week ago, and so far has grossed $54 million worldwide.
And how much was the budget?
$30 million.
Well, so they're going to make back whatever they ended up putting in there, I guess, unless their marketing was kind of high. I don't think it was, but sorry.
So far, it has received negative reviews from critics who felt it failed to reach the height and impact of the original film. A sequel entitled The Exorcist Deceiver is scheduled to be released on April 18th, 2025. So, I had already pointed out that Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton fame was the main, he was one of the fathers in the film.
Oh, he was the dad, like the main dad?
Yeah, he was the photographer, the one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then Jennifer Nettles, like you said, played the best friend's mother.
Yeah, and was the dude from Hamilton also in Moonlight or something too? I think.
Maybe. He might have been. I don't remember.
Because I think I might have recognized him from trailers. I never watched the movie, but I thought.
Well, he was in Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Harriet, and he was also in Glass Onion. If you've seen that movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Glass Onion was funny.
Yeah. I don't think he was in Moonlight though.
Well, I know it was somebody that looks similar because there's always certain people to me that always end up looking familiar that I get confused with a lot of the time. It's like certain actors just kind of look similar. Not saying that they look exactly the same, but they
the dude. I think the dude that was in Moonlight's the dude that's playing Blade. Mahershala Ali.
Oh,
I think
okay.
is his name.
Mahershala. I think that's how they say it. But
yeah, I thrashed the name. I'm not.
I mean, it's like Benedict Cumberbatch and like certain other people's names. Like they have several different pronunciations. Like depends on, I guess, if you're like depending on your dialect, I guess, or like you and like where you're from. Like I've heard people say people's names differently depending on where they're like what country they're from and stuff.
Yeah, so to get back to what I was referring to with the projects being collaborated with Peacock, parts 2 and 3 of the trilogy were optioned as potential Peacock exclusive films. So they may not even come out in the theater. They may just go straight to Peacock. But this one itself, actually, I think goes digital on the 24th of this month. So it's
Oh,
not.
so like literally like a couple of like 2 or 3 weeks after the release, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and it was originally scheduled to come out this week, but they moved it up a week because of Taylor Swift. I think we mentioned that in a
Oh
couple
yeah,
podcasts
yeah,
back. That
and I think it kind of makes sense. Like
well,
when I watched this movie, it kind of makes sense why. I mean, well, it made sense when we were talking about it because you know that people were gonna go out in droves to watch Taylor Swift's movie.
yeah,
But
well, we
like,
saw that when
yeah,
we went to the movie theater tonight. There was people going with their Taylor Swift stuff. They were all dressed in glittery dresses. It was kind of
oh,
nuts.
okay,
I'm
yeah,
like, so either they didn't go to the concert or they went to the concert and they still went and saw
and
the movie. I'm like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
it's
I'm telling you, some people in their fandom, man, it's just kind of a bit too severe. It's kind of like, I understand like Phantom Menace type of like, especially when like most of the trilogy movies came out in it was like early '70s to when did Return of the Jedi come out? Was it in the early or like the
it was
late
in the
'80s or
80s.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
like
think
late
like
'80s.
89. Hold
And
on.
then I think Phantom
83, actually,
Menace,
dude.
and I know that the Phantom '83.
Yeah, it was
Holy
1983.
shit!
Yeah.
So and then I think it was like in the late '90s when Phantom Menace came out, right? I think.
Phantom Menace? Yeah, that might have been
Yeah.
the early 2000s. Hold on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I knew it was around there because
1999.
okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was in the '90s, but
Well, that's
like,
barely the 90s.
well,
1999.
yeah, yeah. But like, it kind of makes sense with that one because like it was a long time before they even watched another one. So like when you went to the theaters, you would dress up like Jedi's or Siths or whatever. But some people would just take it way too far.
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
some
don't
people's fandoms
I
just
don't
kind of
get
get.
it, but seeing tonight, I get why Exorcist moved up a week.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
in that 54 million, they've grossed 33.9 in the United States and 20 million in Canada and 20 million in other places.
and
So that's where the 54
okay.
million comes from.
Are we gonna say about recommending it first before we talk about spoilers and talk about the film and stuff?
I was gonna ask you what you thought because I might have a different opinion of you or than
To,
you.
to me, I thought the movie was okay. I would watch it if it was on DVD or on Netflix or something, but I wouldn't. I didn't really care for it in the theaters. I mean, it was okay at best to me, but I think it had good moments. But
And I would agree. I think this might be one of those that wait to see it on, since it's coming out on Peacock, and it seems like it's coming out on Peacock on the 24th.
yeah, just wait until it comes out.
Just wait until then. Yeah, I mean,
Because I mean, I've talked about the FNAF movie, and I was just generally talking about it with somebody else, and I was like, because it comes out on the same day as the release time, which I was shocked by. I thought it would have taken at least 2 or 3 weeks before, but like they have the FNAF movie coming out on the same day on Peacock, and now I was like, if there was a choice between both, I like watching movies at home, but I kind of want to watch that movie in the theaters. So I'm probably gonna watch it in the theaters when it comes out,
well,
and
if
then we
anybody
could.
doesn't have one of those theater subscriptions, we have Regal Unlimited now, and you basically can watch unlimited movies
Yeah, pretty much
every
it
month
covers for
for.
like if you watch two of them, like it pretty much covers the price. It's like $19 a month, or with taxes, it's a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I
But
mean, for me, it's basically one movie and you've covered it. So,
yeah, well, I mean, on the weekends, it's like $14 or something. So I mean, it pretty much covers for itself. So
but
right
yeah,
now, it makes it easier for us, that we're
well, we're
watching all
watching.
the movie, and like if we're talking about all the premieres and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, and soon we're gonna be talking about
War
more than
movies, yeah.
just horror movies. So,
Yeah.
right now,
So,
but
are we gonna really talk about a lot of the film? Because I'm like, I don't even really know if we need to go into spoilers all that much with this movie.
well, I mean, we kind of changed it. You weren't on the last one where we felt that we did Saw injustice in that review because we gave away the entire plot. I think with now the last one that we talked about the premiere on, we barely gave anything away at all. And if you
Oh,
remember on
what,
Arrow,
talking about the "No One Will Save You" one?
yeah, we talked
Or
about basically nothing, except for the fact that, like we said, I feel you need to watch that one. But the biggest thing we gave away for that one was that there was 5 words of dialogue in the whole movie. So,
what?
yeah, there was only 5 words spoken in 93 minutes. So that was and it was a great
Okay.
movie considering there was no dialogue.
I mean, yeah,
Caitlin Deaver was a no.
I mean, A Quiet Place
Ka-
is like one, but
yeah, but they still talked in that movie.
yeah,
Caitlin Deaver was incredible. Like you felt everything that she was feeling in it, in my opinion, and we talked about that on the last one.
yeah.
This one, I felt the movie was, like you said, okay. It wasn't bad. Like all the reviews that I was reading about was shitting on it. I
Yeah.
didn't feel that it needed to be shit on. Now, is it something that
Mm,
I would have gone to the movies to watch? Probably not. It probably would have been one I would have waited
yeah.
to see on streaming. I think one we need to talk about on this podcast is Megan. I have not seen it. I want to watch it.
I
And I
mean,
want
I've
to
seen
talk
it.
about it on the podcast, but
I
it'll be when
mean,
we're
yeah. Oh,
past all
probably after the
the top
35
35.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, for this one, I mean, it was, it was a standard fare for what I would
Well,
have
to
expected from The Exorcist. I agree that it
yeah.
didn't compare to the original, but there aren't a lot that do. I
Okay,
mean,
let me just say though, like
they tried to pull stuff
I
in, though. I
hated the
can tell you.
first Exorcist movie. I hated it, but
You have to
also at the same
rewatch
time,
it, though, Josh.
well, at the same time, I watched
We
way
will be.
worse movies, in my opinion, like uh, before I watched The Exorcist.
But we
All I
have
heard
to.
was about how good the story was, and the jump scares and all this stuff. So when I watched it, and years later, mind you, I think it was in my 20s, or maybe even early 30s when I watched it. So I watched like thousands of movies before I watched that one. And it was like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and even Sleepaway Camp and a bunch of other ones. I watched those first. So when I watched this one, or like the original Exorcist, I just didn't care for it. So when I watched this trailer, I was interested in watching the movie because it was something different. But honestly, I thought that they were going to do kind of what they did in the first movie, where they kind of like they kind of kill off a lot of people, it seems like. And then to me, it felt like I hate movies that do like where bad guys can get comeuppance a lot of the time. So, and a few movies are like that where, like, I mean, to a certain degree, I mean, if it makes me actually like the character or understand the reasoning why they do stuff, I'm not so bad. Like, I could talk about Killmonger from Black Panther for that type of thing. But I just didn't really care for the like everything pretty much you watch in the trailer. It felt like that's what I watched in the movie. Like except for the first like 45 minutes of the film, I think. So it was no real surprise about what was happening. So it didn't surprise me at all. Like literally most of the stuff that happened, they showed in the trailer, like the the sisters and all that stuff. So if you've watched the trailer, you pretty much watched the movie, except for, like I said, like the first 45 minutes. I mean, was it the same for you? Because that's what I was thinking when I was watching it.
As far as what? I'm sorry.
like, like you watched the movie when you watched the trailer.
To an extent, but I mean, there wasn't. I mean, there was other stuff you didn't see, but like I was saying before, this was standard Exorcist fare. It really wasn't much different than the original, and that's
Yeah.
the one biggest takeaway that I had from it was that they even tried to pull stuff in. The only thing I think they didn't do, and I'm not really giving spoilers away unless you've seen the original one, but they didn't do the crab walk.
Oh yeah.
But I think everything else they kind of did in this one that you saw in the original one. It may have happened in different ways, and that's all I'll say. But from the standpoint of what happened in the original, they kind of did the same one with this one. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
I could tell you what the new girl Olivia O'Neill, the one that played Catherine, freaked me the fuck out though.
Oh.
I
Was
was
that the
talking
one
to,
that was saying like, "Have you seen Reagan?" Like from that one.
yeah, but just her look. I mean,
Oh
even from
yeah.
the beginning, the way she just looked. See, like Lydia, the one that played Angela, did not look as freaky to me.
Yeah.
From the get-go, Olivia O'Neill, who played Catherine, looked freaky when they found them. And
See,
before
like,
you even,
yeah,
you knew they were
I
gonna,
agree.
because of the trailer, you knew they were gonna be possessed. And see, that's the thing. The
Yeah,
problem is with, and that I get what you're saying there because you knew pretty much what was gonna happen. Like going into the movie, you wouldn't have been surprised. Like you just didn't know how it came about. Really,
yeah,
that's all you were
essentially, yeah.
really missing. Um, but but the movie wasn't bad. I mean, but again,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was an okay movie for it. I mean, I liked how it definitely talked about more about your faith more than anything, especially as a religious person. Like, if
well,
you would see some of this stuff, would you be the type of person that would believe this stuff or like completely criticize it and be like, there ain't no way that this happened, so on and so forth? Or does it vindicate like the like your reasoning for like how
well,
you have your faith and
and the other thing too is the I could say based on watching the movie, the one thing that you don't get from the trailer is why it was called what it was, but watching the movie, you understand why it had the title.
oh, the believer part
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it?
So
Yeah.
I'll say that too, but watching the trailer, that part didn't, like, why was it called Exorcist Believer? You wouldn't have gotten that from the
Yeah.
trailer.
Oh yeah.
And we'll
Because they
be,
just literal that's why I was saying like literally it showed most of the scary stuff
yeah,
essentially
and
like
we'll put a
in the
link
trailer.
to the trailer in the description on YouTube. But if you guys watch that, you can tell us in the comments if you agree with that assessment that, you know, and especially after you watch the movie, whether it be on Peacock when it's released or if you go to the theater
Or
and
in the
watch it.
theaters, yeah.
But
I mean, the way that it's going, it seems like it would have probably made its money back. So, if anything, we'll probably get two more. Which that's the one
well,
thing I was
they're
surprised
they're
that Danny.
well,
Oh,
they're
sorry.
going to get two more because I think they're already making them. For one,
Yeah.
they've already set a release date. I believe Green's going to be directing both of them. It seems like this is his way because he's the one that directed all the new Halloween movies.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's what I was saying. I guess, I was surprised that Danny McBride and them did it again. I'm like, so are they just gonna revamp a bunch of like the old series,
well, the
like the
funny
old
thing
horror
is I
movies?
totally wasn't thinking that Danny McBride was the same Danny McBride from the damn comedy shows.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, what? He's
And
doing Halloween,
well,
and
not
then
only
now
that,
he was doing this.
well, yeah, but think about where Green came from. You know, he directed Pineapple Express, right? And
Yeah,
Your Highness
yeah.
and stuff like that. But it's funny. I was just talking about Alien Covenant when we talked about Alien last time, and Danny McBride was in it. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's just funny that, I mean, but yeah, I didn't realize. I guess he's just become mainly a writer now versus an actor. But
Well, I
I
mean,
I remember
once
that
you've
dude.
done so much, I mean, what
But
else are you supposed to do? Like
I
when you hit a certain level, I mean,
I get that. I just saying I remember him a lot from. If you do you remember the movie Due Date with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach
yeah, I remember. I
Galifianakis?
remember that.
He
Like the
played
main,
the dude in the wheelchair at the Western Union that beats the hell
yeah,
out of Robert Downey.
yeah. The main thing that it reminds me of is in Hot Rod, where he's like beating the dude up with the traffic cone. He's like, "I've been drinking green tea all day." He's
Yeah,
like, "I go to church on Sunday. Are you gonna beat the demons out of me?" Yeah,
yeah.
like I could quote that movie like super like a lot.
But
I've seen it way too many damn times.
one thing we normally go through Act 1, 2, and 3, but what I'm going to say is I'm going to talk about Act 1 specifically. I don't know if I'm going to, because again, we already talked about the movie kind of goes the way Exorcist does. So I mean, but the beginning to me is the part. I guess they were trying to tie what I was talking to with the believer part to the end because the beginning at first didn't make much sense because it
Yeah,
was like to me anyways because it didn't really tie to anything that I felt in the movie really besides the belief part and that's
yeah.
you know
Well, essentially, they were tying like really your belief to like, especially exorcisms. You have to believe in what you really are preaching if you want to like. And because the whole point is for them to save these two kids, really, essentially. That's why I'm like the dad and the other parent, the other kid's family essentially are doing this is because they're trying to set free their kids because they don't know what's going on. So they're trying to do this exorcism for this, and you have to be steadfast in your beliefs. That's one thing that's what they nailed with the name believer and everything else is because they were showing that if you wavered in your faith, they punished you for it. So, without leaving any spoilers, but
but
yeah,
but yeah and I'll say that I felt the opposite of what you're saying
hmm.
so anyhow I don't know if there's much else to say on the movie though.
No, like what were you
Do you have
saying?
an,
Like what you mean by opposite, though?
well, I didn't believe that it was the wavering belief. Like I
Oh,
think it was the fact that he lost his belief and
oh,
had to get it
okay.
back.
I know.
There,
Yeah, I get. Well, I wasn't saying it towards him. I was saying it towards the other. I mean, without. I mean, certain things that happen in the movie happen because of lost faith. Like it wasn't so much because of other. But I mean, it's like a combination of the two, really, essentially. But that's why I say that they focus like they did well at uh, focusing on religion in the story itself. Well, that's one of the high points for me was talking about like how much you put into your beliefs when it comes to religion and everything else. So,
And I excuse that for everybody on YouTube watching the podcast. My camera decided that it was too hot, so
it
we've lost
decided to
the.
take a shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it decided that to cool down right in the middle of this, which is weird because we're only 20 minutes in. I don't know why it decided to do that now. But for anybody on YouTube right now, the only camera that's going to show is Josh's, but you'll still hear my voice while we talk about it. But until my camera comes back up. But with that, yeah, I mean, that was one thing on the movie that it tied into the faith thing, you know, and I can say that watching these ones recently, like The Nun 2 and stuff like that, is it was fairly accurate in that depiction. I find it interesting. It's always tied into Catholicism, though. There's never a, and I'm not to say that that's bad. I'm just saying it's very interesting. It always ties to that religion. You don't really. What I mean is, you don't really hear them talking about other ones. There are a multitude of. They kind of did it with this one because one family wasn't Catholic.
Yeah. It was like one group wasn't Catholic or like wasn't religious itself, really, or like they kind of went away from it, but. It seemed like they were showing Catholicism, and then they were also showing kind of depicting Christianity, like a different form of it.
Well, that's what I was saying, because at the beginning it was voodoo, and I'll give that away. But then I think the other group was Baptist.
Yeah. That's what I was assuming, but I mean, I've been to a few churches, and some of them have various like similarities.
But the Exorcist part was tied into Catholic.
Yeah.
So it was just very interesting to me that it always comes back to that. I mean, The Nun was the same way. Let's see if my camera comes back on.
So, yeah,
there it goes.
Pretty much.
So welcome back, Jeremy. I mean, I'm back, and I didn't do it again. I'm Jeremy, and this is my brother Josh. I didn't say it at the beginning.
Yeah, you need to just be like, this is Scream Screeps, and this is Jeremy, and this type of shit is Josh. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but anyhow, I mean, like I said, I don't know. We don't want to give away too much of the movie. We feel that you should watch it. Just maybe wait until it's on one of the on Peacock. And it sounds like it'll be on Peacock at the end of the month, right around the time that Five Nights at Freddy comes out. So, Josh, do you have anything else, or do you want to wrap up the podcast?
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. So, for next episode, which will be releasing on Wednesday, we'll be talking about the number 23 movie in the top 35 scariest movies according to science. And when I figured this out, this is actually the list from 2020. So they've actually updated the list twice since then.
What? Since then?
Yeah, so they updated it in 2021, and then they updated it in 2022.
So what was the difference between... I guess we should look at that. I mean, they probably added newer movies onto it.
Yeah, but I mean, the top we could go along with this one, and then we can add in ones that, because like, you'll see when we get there. But I mean, the biggest difference is number 1 on our list is now number 2.
Oh, okay.
So, but I won't spoil that part. But on our list, we're going off of 2020, which was number 23 is the Blair Witch Project. So that's going to be the one we talk about on Wednesday.
And I get to make fun of that movie for like an hour.
So on the flip side, in 2021, just to give you perspective, in 2021, Blair Witch was number 28.
Oh, so it was even higher then.
Yeah, no, it was lower. So instead of
Oh,
23,
well, I
it was
meant like
28.
higher on the list.
And a lot of the ones we talked about aren't even on the list now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like Dark Skies, The Orphanage, all those that we did aren't on the list anymore. Let's
Okay,
see.
then.
But yeah, so for the most part, the rest that we're doing there's only a couple that in there that are added that weren't there in 2020. So just different spots. But like Scream, we're going to be talking about at number 20 is not on the list, I don't think, in 2021.
Okay, that's very weird. So they must have added some newer movies onto it then.
They did.
Or
Well, in
like re-ranked them
2022,
or
we've
something.
already talked about Black Phone. That was number 30. So,
Yeah, and that was a fucking great film too.
but yeah, but we've reviewed that one on the podcast
Yeah, I know.
already.
Well,
But,
that's what I was saying. I was just mentioning it.
but yeah, so the next one we'll be doing on Wednesday will be Blair Witch, and then next week I think we'll be talking about Totally Killer that's released on Prime, Amazon Prime. In the off week that nothing really releases in the theaters, so we're gonna watch that one on Amazon Prime, and hopefully Aaron can join us for that one. Depending upon his work schedule, that's why he's missing tonight. But,
Yep.
But yeah, and then like Josh said, on the 27th we'll be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
FNAF.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get my oldest son, because he's always talked about that, like he was afraid of that when he was a kid. So
yeah, I get
and
that. I mean, like it's based
he's,
on all jump scares. Really, the games are.
He's
So,
still
I mean,
a kid, but he's 15 now, so it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to watch it with him if he does it. I know my other son wants to watch it, and I think it's rated PG-13, so I might actually let
Yeah.
him. But
Well, I mean, it's mainly made for kids. It's kind of like Goosebumps.
well,
When you're growing
Elaine
up.
was
Or,
talking about
are
it. Looks
you
like
afraid
a
of the dark?
Elaine was saying it looks like it's haunted Chuck E. Cheese, is what she
Essentially,
thinks.
that's what it is. It's like
so
that's how it's been the whole time.
so
That's the one thing I like about the lore. So I'm wondering if this is based around the first game or not,
yeah.
or if it's like a totally different thing. It seems like it's based around the first game because like Chica with the cupcake is like one of them. I'm gonna be the only one that really knows like about most of the characters. It seems like on the podcast. So
Yeah, more than likely.
mostly because I watch a lot of like, especially Game Theory. If you watch Game Theory on YouTube, they talk about that FNAF like so much because they have like so many different games now that they came out with where there's a bunch of different lore. They even did different types of games that were set in the same universe. Like they even have like a role playing game version. Yeah, they have like all sorts of stuff now.
Okay.
So Scott Cawthon, the guy that made the series, is very smart with his IPs. Like all this stuff for FNAF in total with the marketing and everything is very smart. So anyway,
All right, well, that's it for the Exorcist Believer. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this podcast. We kept this one a little bit shorter. It's only in at 33 minutes. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys haven't already, like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell so you get notified when our new videos come out. Hopefully shortly we'll be not only having podcast videos released on YouTube, we'll have my model builds and our Lego builds start to come back out on the channel again.
yeah, and hopefully, if everything permits and everything else, is like I'll start doing music reviews and stuff like that. I also got to do like a game review for Lies of P because I finished the game now. So, and awesome. So, like, I can't even spoil some stuff on that game too.
Yeah, and I'm contemplating doing a Let's Play on the channel for that.
Well, I kind of started doing. Yeah, like on my Twitch channel, I've done like a few videos on it. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to do the whole game on it, but I've done bits and pieces of the game so far.
But yeah,
on
so
my Twitch channel.
For all of us at the Heart of Geek and Scream Creeps, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you on Wednesday for Blair Witch Project. Have a good rest of your day or night whenever you are listening to this.
Yep.
See ya.